All right, folks, so it's that time. That time is 6,000 miles. So I've had about a little bit over 6,000 miles with this beauty of a motorcycle, and just thought it would be time to give you all a little story. Here we go. So this motorcycle and I, if you've probably been following the YouTube channel, a lot of adventures and a lot of modifications, a lot of different things that are going on with this bike. So after 6,000 miles, I thought I would give a little explanation as to what is going on with this motorcycle, what's going to happen in the future, and what's been done. So let's start from the top and we'll work our way to the bottom. So probably one of the first modifications we've done, I don't know why I'm saying we, it's only me here, but these are the Rizoma retro mirrors here. So I got these because the stock mirrors were absolutely garbage. And I don't want to, make fun of it, but I just couldn't, with my shoulders, or I don't know if it's my height, my shoulder width, I could not see anything behind me. And so that's obviously dangerous. So I wanted to make sure I was able to actually see behind me, to the sides and all that. So I had to change these first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link all of the modifications that I have on the description below. And so next we have the grips. So these grips, I don't know if you can see, they're kind of worn by now, but these are from Trip Machine. So these Trip Machine grips are absolutely amazing. The look I was going for is more of a brown and gold, not gold, but let's say brass look on the bike. And so this has, I don't know if you can see, there's a Trip Machine. So I've been able to put these on. So the way you put it on is not really that tricky. So at the bottom there's an adhesive you have to peel off, and then you have to go from side to side, making sure that you're properly fitting them and that every piece is kind of connected. If you have any piece that's really not connected, it's not going to work. I think did I do a video on how to do this? I may have done that. So that's the last piece you have to cut. You want to make sure it's at the bottom. If it's at the top, it's probably going to start unraveling. So another here is the Atlas throttle lock. So if you've seen another video I put up, I've talked a little bit about the Atlas. I can't say it's my favorite, but it does the job. Since the Street Twin does not come with any cruise control, it gives on some long rides that I've had, it's given my wrist and my hands and my fingers a little bit of help. So pull the throttle, lock it up, let it off. It does sometimes seem to slip, but that's just, I don't know. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But look at the video over here if you want to see a little bit more about the install and how I feel about it. Click it off. Goes back. So with the mirrors that I took off, also I believe I got these from British Customs. Very small piece. So this is the, the mirror delete kit. It's not really much of a kit. You just kind of you just plug this in. There was a hole where the mirrors were before, and so you plug that in, and I have a same one on the other side, and that's it. Let's see. We're going to go straight to the tank. Actually, we have another thing up here, but I'll go to the tank first. So we have these Moto caps. I'll give you the actual name to it in the description. But so my issue with the other cap was that it linked, you had to use a key to open it, and the key was driving me absolutely crazy. I don't know, maybe I'm just a little stupid sometimes, but the key could not unlock. I just couldn't open it. It was getting too frustrating. This fit with the bike. It's very minimalistic and it looks nice. So all it is a open up with turn to the left to open it, turn to the right to close it. Very simple. And I like these sharper rough edges around the side. Over here, well, this is my Samsung S22 Ultra, but I'll take it off so you can see what's underneath. So this is my quad lock charging mount. So two things. I had the original one, and then I realized if I'm going to take any longer drives, I need something that's going to charge it. So the silly thing, who's that? I was talking to some motorcyclist, and although this is a wireless charger and I love it a lot, it's still wired. So, it's not really a wireless charger, to be honest. It's still wired to the bike. And it goes, and I run it underneath the tank. I'll give you a little look-see. That's my helmet. It's wired underneath the tank. Have it coming down all the way. And I'll show you in a minute how it's connected. The street twin like this. Boop. If you look in here, so I have pulled the wiring all the way down and into this USB cable right here. So that's how it charges it. So again, this is the quad lock charging mount. What you do is you push into it and you turn the case counterclockwise or clockwise, whatever you prefer, and it locks it in place with these bolts. And it charges to the back of the phone. So also with that, I have the dampener, the vibration dampener, as you can see on this side here. That helps control the vibrations as you're riding along. So let me take out my phone. So right here, this is the case. The case mounts to this bad boy over here. All right, boom. And they have just about every single phone available. These Trip Machine tank pads. I've been waiting for these for a long time, and finally they came out with these. I couldn't decide if I wanted brown or black. I decided to go with the black. Thought it would look a little bit better than the brown. I had to source some opinions because I was having a hard time. But these are really sweet. Not a whole lot of cushion, and it's adhesive. It's not a magnet. So this adhesive, I don't know, this may be coming off a little bit. Yikes. I may need to try and reinforce that. So to continue, actually wait, we got to go back to the front. Hold on. So probably the very first modification that I did was the headlight. This is a little dirty, but this is the Moto adaptive headlight. I know they came out with a second one. It's probably better than this, but this is the one that they have here. So as you turn to the left, turn to the right, the light kind of goes with where you're going. So it makes for illuminated darker turns. So instead of turning to the left or turning to the right and seeing and not being able to see where you're going, especially in darker instances. It's really helpful to have the motodemic headlight or any adaptive headlight, because it just makes it a little bit easier to see down in the corners. And I will turn it on and you can see the startup. Nice. All right, so now I think we've done with the more or less at the top. This is the Crafton Atelier seat. And I believe this is espresso brown. So with the espresso brown, it kind of fits. I thought it was going to be a little bit lighter, to be honest. Or I should say, I thought the Trip Machine was going to be a little bit darker, but they came out with some dark ones. But I don't know if it's probably too late to change those out now. Those are kind of stuck on, and I like them. And the great thing about leather is that it gets a little darker. It looks a little nicer once it's been used. But this seat has been great. I've taken it for short rides, and I've ridden to Asheville, I've ridden to DC, Maryland on this thing. And I'm sure there are more comfortable seats, but to be honest, this is great. This is really all you need. Now, if you're going across country, I don't know, maybe you wanted something different, or add an additional cushion on top. But this has been perfect the way it is. I cannot complain. All right, we'll start with the back next. We'll go to these British Customs taillights. So if you've seen any recent video, I've told you about how crazy my light issue has been. And the tail light, I'm gonna not have everyone look at my license plate. I had different tail lights before that were a lot thinner, but the way that the company was made, I don't want to bash that company, but the way they were made just allowed for a lot of different issues and open circuits. So I had to switch to the British Custom ones, and they have been absolutely wonderful. I'm gonna put this on so you can take a look. So left turn, pretty bright. Take a look at the right. Yeah, so these are pretty good LED lights. So this is probably some of the better parts of the bike aesthetically. Now I probably should have washed the bike before I did this, but I'm also going to turn this off. So we have here, these are also from Moto, and these are the caps that they have here. This is all brass. So I had the brass and the black finish in mind. This is also from Moto right here. So when I did the whole X pipe that we'll get to at the bottom, I just changed everything out. So these clamps are from Moto. Got the brass clamps here. And the fuel cap, Moto. And the ACG and clutch badge on the other side are also brass. And underneath, you'll see the Moto X pipe right there. Decided to wrap the exhaust as well in all black. They always talk about benefits of doing it. It's not as hot. The engine and the exhaust doesn't run as hot as it would if it doesn't have the heat wraps on it. And I put those on myself and wrapped them myself and painted them myself. I think I talked about that in an earlier video too. Looks like I may need a repaint actually. So to continue on, going to the bottom, brass finish on the foot peg. I don't know if you can see it really well, but story behind that, I went to Asheville and I dropped the bike and it fell over on this left side, and the peg kind of pushed itself in. Now, with that said, luckily the whole transmission is fine, but the peg was bent. So this was bent upward. Had to get it removed. So I just put this bad boy on myself, and it works. It's just fine. Actually, this is also a little bit longer than the stock one. I think the stock one's a little bit smaller, and so I like a little bit longer one. There's a longer one that Moto has. It's up to here. It was black, but I decided to go with this one. These are the Ranger foot pegs. I don't have the other ones on because I was messing around with the X pipe. I took them off, but I put these Ranger foot pegs a lot more comfortable than the stock ones. Longer distances, you could just put my feet are pretty big and wide, so having these Ranger foot pegs on, much more helpful and comfortable on the road. And lastly, I think this is the last thing. No, we got a couple more things. So these are from Moto as well. So damn, I forgot the name of this thing. I'll put it at the bottom. But this definitely helps with lifting the bike. Also adds to the brass look of the bike. We also have brass here on the tire gas valves. Not gas valves. That's not true. That's not what they're called. Alright, so adding to that brass look. And I think that's about it. Right? And the exhaust? I think the exhaust is it. So these are the turnout pipes from Moto. Alright. So along with the X pipe, I think I told this story already, but I'll tell the shorter version. Went on, and as you know, the Euro 5 models are all welded to the bike. So I had to ask, if I took the cat off, would I be able to fit these on? Moto was great with getting back to me, and they're like, yeah, if you can get them off, you can get these on. And I mean, look at it. It's a great sound. It's not too loud, but louder than the stock. Louder than the stock pipes. Took a while to fit, but otherwise it's pretty easy. So let me give you a little bit of a listen. There you go. And so I think that's it for the modifications. I'm going to give another video talking about the 6,000 mile review. But that's what I've done with the bike within these recent 6,000 miles. Now, what's next? So what's next with the bike is that I am looking to add some lights. North Carolina can get pretty dark. Oh, I also forgot. Had to change the tires, and I got these Road Riders, Avon. These have been great. I can't say they're better or worse than the stock ones, but they work just fine. Apparently they're really great with the rain, so these grooves help wick away the rain if you're riding in the rain. I'm not a big rain motorcycle rider, so but it is important to be able to keep traction whenever you can. So what's next? So here's a few things. One, slightly smaller LED turn signals. I'm probably going to either put them right under here. I've seen someone with these having the turn signals under here, or have them right exactly where they are, or closer to the headlight. So I'm looking at Moto Gadget, those small blaze ones. So I'm probably going to put those on. Next modifications, also Denali D2 headlights, and I'm thinking about using a bracket to fit them over here, right, or on the forks. So either on here or on the mount over there to shine a little bit brighter light when I need it. I'm probably going to put on the Moto. They're these caps over here. They're silver or chrome, and I would love them to be, go with the brass look. I also have the British custom clamp, so I'm going to reclamp it. And I am thinking of changing the bar. This bar is really comfortable. Thinking about a cafe look, but I'm not fully sure. So when I get the clamps, it's going to remove this middle part here, and I'm going to move this quad lock into the middle. So I would love to look at the directions on my phone right here in the middle as opposed to slightly to the left. I'm going to change these out at some point. This got some fuel on it. That's why the paint is all messed up. So I'm going to change these at some point. Eventually change the shocks. And internally, in terms of the electrics, I'm looking to put that Moto Gadget unit, M unit blue, in here. I think it's going to make the bike a lot more efficient in terms of any of the electrics running to the battery. And also you get to get rid of the key. Not that you don't want to get rid of it, but you can have a keyless start, which, the added value of that is pretty amazing. So you're always carrying around a spare, technically. And that's it. Thought about changing the mirrors again too, but I think those are fine for now. So those are the modifications so far. 6,000 miles. I'm going to give a full review at a later date. And wait, one more. When it's time to change the chain, I'm trying to have a black sprocket and also a brass chain to go with this. So when it's time to change the chain, I'm just going to do that. All right, those are the modifications so far. If you have any questions, ideas, if you have anything you want to add, any information you want to share, feel free to comment. Also, helping out with the channel is great. So there's a few ways that you can help out with this channel. One, if you're buying anything for your motorcycle or clothes, gear, look at the links below. So those links, if you use those links, helps me out just a little bit. Gives you some a little percentage off, maybe whether it's the sale tax or the shipping, and it gives me a little bit of pocket change. Not much. You're not paying for anything from me. It just helps both of us out. So, and then as a result, it helps out the channel and helps me create some more interesting videos than the one you're seeing today. Or I have a partnership with Foggy Garage. So if you saw any of those videos, I'll link the one up top, of gloves that I use, or any other gloves that you see there, it's pretty sweet. So they have not just gloves, but they have a whole lot of motorcycle gear. They're company based out of this country, United States. So you should definitely check that out. So if you use the Merck's Moto, code, you should probably get 10% off there. So if you're looking to get something new and you like what's there, let's help each other out. How about that? So thanks a lot for taking a look at the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll check you out later. Merck's Moto out.